With the success of Resident Evil 2, fans of the series were very curious to see what would come next. What we got was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, released on the Sony PlayStation on November 11th, 1999. This happens to be my favorite Resident Evil of all time, and one of my favorite games of all time. I can't really explain it. It just takes me back to a better time, and always ends up with a huge nostalgia value for me. But I have reasons why this is my favorite, so here's my review. The first half of the game occurs 24 hours prior to Resident Evil 2, and the second half takes place nearly 2 days after Resident Evil 2, so they're both related, and the story remains the same. T-Virus outbreak occurs in Raccoon City. This time we're STARS member Jill Valentine, who happens to be my favorite video game character. She fights through the city, struggling to survive, being one of the only STARS members left. Nobody believed the STARS team about the Spencer Mansion, and now everything is falling apart in Raccoon City. There is one more thing about the game that makes it stand out from the rest, and that is the new BOW, Nemesis. He is sent in to take out the remaining STARS members throughout the city, and kills anyone who gets in his way. He is a badass motherfucker, and chases you all throughout the game. This is what scared everyone back in the day. He stalks you down and comes out of nowhere to scare the shit out of you. He is a great addition to the game, and there is no BOW like him. The game also has a very interesting lineup of characters that Jill happens to run into while trying to escape. She runs into the UBCS members Carlos, Mikhail, and Nikolai. They all try to team up and have no choice but to work together and escape in Raccoon City. I don't want to go into detail for those who haven't played it yet. Let's just say things get very dramatic, and with the story, characters, and everything at stake, the game really pulls you in every time, like no other. Now we get to the gameplay, which is very similar to the first two. The new features for the gameplay include auto-aim feature, which makes it easier to hit targets, and a 180-degree quick turn, which would be included in the rest of the Resident Evil games in the future. Both of these new features work very smoothly. You can tell how easier the game feels with better mechanics. There's also a new dodge mechanic, which is helpful. There is also gunpowder and reloading tools, which both are used to create ammo throughout the game. And this helps the most in hard mode. This great new feature really works well, and you are able to mix certain types of gunpowder to make any type of ammo. Something else that they threw in the game that was very fresh was the live selection, where at certain moments you choose between two options for what you want to do. Whatever one you pick can change little things about the game, even the ending. This also adds replay value because you could just replay the game and see the different side of gameplay. The game's weapons are pretty much the same deal, with a few new guns to add to the mix. You can also find gun parts which you can pick up after killing Nemesis each time in battle. Of course, this has to be on hard mode, but it's worth to see all the cool little weapons you can unlock for the game. The game still has many scares and keeps you on the edge of your seat, especially with Nemesis lurking around almost every corner hunting you down. The game has a very dramatic feel to it, with the characters trying to survive and come to terms with everything that they are losing. Besides, this is the final game in the original trilogy and closes the Raccoon City chapter. I can't give away the ending for those who don't know it, but it's one of my favorite video game endings of all time, and one of my favorite Resident Evil endings. Capcom really made sure the game wasn't just a lazy sequel, and added fresh mechanics and little things to keep it alive and well. So that's it. We looked over the original trilogy of the Resident Evil series, and we remembered every good time throughout each game. We went from the Spencer Mansion to Raccoon City, fighting and surviving, watching these characters and stories grow. I have so much nostalgia for the first 3 games alone. I can't even explain how much these games mean to me, especially the third one. I remember slowly learning how to play each game back then, trying to get better, understanding everything I could. I always fell back on this one, and I played it the most. I have the best memories with this game, and of course, the whole series in general. I will never be able to explain myself to the fullest about why this game is my favorite in the series, or even one of my favorite games of all time. But for all those who shared the memories with me, thank you. And for those who watched these reviews and were brought back to those times of nostalgia, I thank you as well. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Till next time.